I am Kasey Valentine-Steffen, and I'm the CHW supervisor for Haywood, Jackson, and Transylvania. We're very fortunate in our organization to have a very diverse range of employees. And so some of our CHWs work in LGBTQI plus outreach, and they wanted to have an event that targets that population specifically around mental health and making sure they're vaccinated. And so we were really fortunate that we got to pair with several organizations, collaborate with those. We were able to offer through those other organizations. We were able to do Hep C testing and HIV/AIDS testing on the spot. Vecinos come and offer vaccines and boosters. We had food distribution. Of course, we had all of our COVID swag and test and mask and education around that. We had some organizations that are centered around domestic violence. And of course, the mental health services was our main aspect. We had a food truck come. Somebody paid for everybody to get tacos. And so it was a really good event, and it was a good collaboration between a lot of our allies and safe partnerships in Western North Carolina to make sure that we wanted to have a safe space. We did a lot of word of mouth advertising and just wanted to have a place where people could have conversations about how they're feeling after COVID and what they need to feel safe as we go back into the world. So that's why we wanted to have that with the emphasis on mental health, and then also offer the vaccines, offer that final layer of protection before going back into the world. Every month it's a different story, and every county has their own successes and struggles. We had a pop-up play date in Haywood County that we partnered with some local therapy services. Now we're talking therapy services. They do OT and speech therapy, and they go into the home and do home visits. And so we worked together for a couple of years, and one of the speech therapists was like, how about we have this pop-up play date, and you can bring community health workers. And one of the things is that we want to work around COVID response. And so really curious as to how COVID has impacted these families. We wanted to make sure that people were still accessing their pediatrician for their well child check, make sure they were going to the dentist, make sure that they had access to, parents as teachers and other organizations that are working with these parents. And of course, COVID vaccinations being the center of conversations and how parents felt about that. And one of the things that happened, all the parents are sitting around. We're outside, we're safe, we're socially distanced, blowing bubbles and stuff. And some of the parents were sitting there talking about their mental health and how they needed those pop-up play dates to bring them out and to get them started again. And some of the parents were crying because they were worried about their kids and the social impacts of that and what COVID has impacted them. And then we looked over and all the kids were playing together. It's kind of like this moment of okay, maybe we need mental health sources for these parents. There was also a little story that one mom she was so sweet. She was talking about how her almost 4-year-old had never really been in a restaurant. 'Cause, we've been going through this for a couple of years, so he didn't remember. And she said, we walked into a Wendy's to use the bathroom, and she's like, and I hadn't even thought about the fact that we'd never been in one before. And the little kid was like, oh my God, this is so nice. And she just cackled. She said, I cackled when it happened. It was so cute. And she said later that evening I got home and I just bawled my eyes out of all the things that they have missed, interactions with extended family and not starting preschool on time and not going in and experiencing a Wendy's and stuff. So there's going to be a lot of work to do around these things that have happened in these families, what we missed out on and what we need going forward.